Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this section I'm going to talk about the classes and objects in Python. So a class in Python provides a way of bundling the data and functionality together. That means it is a template which provides a logical grouping of data and functions which can be operated on that data. And what is an object? An object is an instance of that class. I'll start with the class first. Here I have created one Python file example1.py under this directory class and object. Now in order to create the class we need to write the keyword class. It is a Python's reserved keyword followed by the class name. I am creating a class called person and it ends with a colon and the class body goes here. Now a class will have its attributes, the variables and the methods. We'll declare a variable name and will be assigning some value to it. Let's say ABC, and I'm defining a function to print out the details. The self will be the first argument of that function. I will explain it later. In order to print it, details self name. So this completes a class. Now we have to create an object. How do we create an object? In order to create an object, we need to declare a variable just like this, obj, and then we'll call the class name followed by a parenthesis. Now when we write this statement obj is equal to person and with the parenthesis, it creates an instance of that class person. That means obj, it is an object now. Now we'll be printing that statement name just by invoking the function showDetails. If we run this code, we'll see the details is ABC, that it prints out this line. So it is working. But till this point we haven't assigned or declared any property of that object of the type person, and we are displaying some hard-coded values which logically means nothing. So a person will have its name, age, profession, something like this. So how do we do that? A standard Python function will have a method init which will be used to initialize the values. It will be a method init and it will take the argument of that properties of that object. Let's say name, date of birth and profession. Self name, so we have declared these three properties: name, date of birth and the profession. Now while creating the object we have to pass the values from here. Now ABC, date of birth, let's say 01/01/2000 and the profession is engineer. Now in this method showDetails, we were just printing the name. Along with that we'll print the other details, self dob and self. Let's run this code. We'll get the details of that person. Now you see in this method init, we use this method to initialize the values. Passed for that particular object. We can create another object p2 just like this, p2 person, and this person will have some different names, df and then Now we have created two objects of that class person, and by invoking this method showDetails. Now how do we invoke that method? Now when we call this p1.showDetails, it takes that first instance, it takes that instance p1, and it calls that particular method with respect to p1's data. Now in order to print out the details of p2, we need to call p2 showDetails. If we run this, we see the two different sets of data we are getting here. Now this person class is having two methods, one is init and another one is showDetails, but it doesn't have one global variable declared which is outside of both these methods. Let's declare one variable count, and let's initialize it to 0. So this particular variable will track the number of objects being created of this person class. So every time we create an object, it by default calls this init method and it initializes the values. So here we will increase the count by saying count plus equal to 1 to self.count. No, it will be just person.count, since this is a attribute of that class. And in the showDetails method, we'll just print the values, number of objects, count. If we run this code, you see this number of objects 2. So we see this count has been shared with all the objects of that class person. So first we have created one object p1, and then we have created another one. Now in between that, the count has been increased to 1 and then to 2, and it is printing here that number of objects 2. Next up, parameterized methods. Till now, the methods that we have been working with are not taking any extra parameter. However, we can modify those methods to accept that extra parameters, as many parameters as we want. For example, we'll modify this method showDetails to accept hobby of the person. Now we'll assign this to a variable self.hobby. This one goes small, and we'll print it a statement like hobby is Since we have changed that method definition, we need to pass the hobby from here as well. It will be like p1 dot showDetails, and hobby, let's say reading. We'll comment this one out, run this code. Hobby is reading, we are getting. So this is how we can make parameterized method. That's all for now, guys. If you have found this video useful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and feel free to drop your queries in the below comment section. See you soon.